And when I was a kid, I wanted to be several different things. I did. From superhero, wizard, secret agent, but the number one thing that I wanted to be was a Jedi. Just always have. One of my earliest Star Wars memories for myself was when we had the special edition Star Wars on VHS, which we still have. They're right here, which I have right here. VHSs. They were released in '97. Dusty. I would watch them with my dad sometimes on the weekend, and I remember this one time specifically where I had a very cheap, non-branded, non-Star Wars branded lightsaber. And I remember being on the couch, standing on the couch, watching Star Wars, and mimicking the fight scenes that were happening with the lightsaber. I believe it was Return of the Jedi, when Luke's gonna go into the Sarlacc pit, and he's fighting all the guys, all of Jabba's men. I was just mimicking all of those movements that Luke would do, and that was my earliest memory of training to be a Jedi. And I took training to be a Jedi very seriously. When The Phantom Menace was coming out, because it was a new Star Wars, that's when it became the most prominent for me. I saw it and became a big fan of Obi-Wan in The Phantom Menace specifically, because he was the young Jedi. He had a blue lightsaber. Favorite color was blue. Still blue. There's many blue things in my room. So after The Phantom Menace came out, they had better, like, brand name lightsabers. And when I got one, because I had no friends to play lightsaber with, to play Jedi with, I would get balloons on, like, holidays, like after a birthday when we were finished with the balloons. I would take the balloons, and with my lightsaber, I would keep the balloons in the air, like Luke's remote in A New Hope, how he puts the blast shield down and blocks the bolts. I would just keep balloons in the air, and one's simple, one's easy, but then when you add like two, because then they start going across the room, and you're just trying to keep them in the air. And that's what I did to train as a Jedi as a kid, because I didn't have any friends in this neighborhood really who liked Star Wars like I did. And then another thing I would do to train as a Jedi, I would ask my sister to take a Nerf gun and shoot me with it, so that I can try and block the bolts. So I was like, okay, I'm ready. And I just had her shoot me. And I would try my hardest to deflect the bolts, which didn't happen but once. But when I did block that one Nerf dart, it was glorious. It was such a fantastic moment in my life, and I treasure it. It was so quick and so small, but I love that moment in my life when I blocked, when I was quick enough to block a Nerf dart. It was great. You know, like the toy bowling kits, like the plastic bowling kits? I would set up pins in different places of a really big room, right? And then I would start out, and then I would remember where they were, and then I made like routines of how to hit them. It was a great way. When you're by yourself and no one wants to play Star Wars with you because you don't have anyone to play Star Wars with you. I was a very inventive child, and then to further my training, and I wanted to be a Jedi so much that I would take my lightsabers with me everywhere. And back in the day, they were like heavier. This is my most precious lightsaber, and I'm gonna get to the story of this in a moment. But they were like thick like this, big, and they had a nice clip on it, and I would clip it to my belt and take it with me everywhere. I would take multiple sometimes and just leave a few in the car, just in case someone wants to, you know, play lightsabers with me, which never happened. One of the things that I would do during my training, during my early years of training, I would watch the Phantom Menace Duel of Fates fight scene with Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, and Darth Maul. I would study that fight scene, And specifically, I would study how Obi-Wan fought in that fight. Because, as I said before, Obi-Wan was my favorite. And I wanted to be like Obi-Wan, and I wanted to fight like Obi-Wan. So I had his stance. I chose his beginning stance, and there would be moves that he would do, and I would just copy them. I would just practice and copy them and do the best. And then I would use those moves on those bowling pins that I was hitting, and I would use them on the balloons, and I would train the best way I possibly could by myself. A few years of that, we moved to a different neighborhood, and I was still actively practicing as a Jedi. Turns out there were a few more children in this neighborhood because it was this house. So I got to play Star Wars and lightsabers with actual other people and fight them. And it turned out these years of training that I did since I was a kid, it kind of made me halfway decent at a lightsaber. It did. And when I would like play with those kids, they weren't very good because they didn't dedicate their lives like I did to the art of the Jedi. So what I ended up doing, because I had many lightsabers, this was my first main lightsaber. I've gone through many battles with this. Gonna get back to that. But I had that lightsaber and several others. So if kids didn't have lightsabers, I would provide them, and then if kids had their own lightsabers, they would have them. But they wanted me, because I was fairly decent, to train them to be Jedi. I'm not joking. When I was from like 12 to 13, if not further along, but from this time period, I was 12 to 13, the kids in the neighborhood wanted me to train them as Jedi. And they made me their master. I'm not joking. I'm not making this up. I sincerely had my own Jedi Academy when I was a kid. And I had several apprentices, and I taught them. And I implemented the same things that I did as a kid. I said, get balloons and just start practicing with them. I seriously did. Like, get balloons, young Padawan, and start practicing with them. And they really would get balloons in the free time when we weren't hanging out outside. They would practice with balloons. And I said, watch the old movie, watch the movies, watch the fight scenes, study them. And then we would go through routines. We'd like line up, and I'd show them different defenses and attacks. And I would always say the Jedi are for defense, and they don't go for the attack unless there's an opening, unless it's what is supposed to happen. And this is like serious. We took it so seriously. It wasn't even a joke. It was a game, and it was the best way to spend one's childhood for that year at least, in this time period. And it was fantastic. It was just Star Wars every day. Every time we went outside, I had my lightsabers hooked. They had their lightsabers hooked to their belts or pants pockets or in their pockets if they didn't have a handle. And we would just play lightsabers and Star Wars and Jedi. It was fantastic. And then right around when Revenge of the Sith was coming out, so it was 2005, so I was 13, more kids had lightsabers because they were more readily available in stores near you. At this point in time, I've been training the Padawans I had for quite some time. For several months, if not a year. One day, this kid that I hadn't really seen before, had heard about my Jedi Academy, and came down to watch and to get some training. Turns out though that he had his own master in another neighborhood. Right? He had his own. There was this other Jedi Academy down the street doing their own thing. The chances of one Jedi Academy in a neighborhood is one thing, but two? What the heck? What kind of fantastic hole in space and time did I get into? Because it's fantastic. Anyway, so he comes down and talks about his other academy and says how his master is better than me. That was his big spiel, was always that, I trained under a better master than all of you others, and then all my Padawan would defend me, and it made me feel really good about myself. The fact that I was getting defended as a Jedi Master, and then I would have to be like the noble Jedi. It's fine, young Padawan. It's fine. Let him think that. If that is true, then it's true. So this went on for a few days, him coming down, training and seeing everything, and then one day, out of nowhere, the other Jedi Master and his Padawans come down to my neighborhood at my Jedi Academy with my Padawans and challenges us to a Jedi civil war, essentially, which isn't really in the Jedi spirit, a Jedi civil war, but that's what happened. Though, keep in mind that this other Jedi Master had a red lightsaber. It was Count Dooku's, specifically, with a curved handle. The debate if he's a Jedi or not is under review. So in my head, this is insane. But he comes down and challenges us. We agree to defend, we were defending ourselves. We were defending our academy. Someone declared war on us and we were just defending ourselves. Because that was our right as Jedi, to defend ourselves. And so we did, we agreed. We agreed to the terms of the battle. And the terms of the battle were the winner, whichever academy won, they would be the Jedi Master of the neighborhood, of the block, what have you. So we lined up, and with this lightsaber, this was the lightsaber I used in the battle, and as you can see, it is scarred, it is scorched, and if you look at the blade, look at, it's just beat up, mangled, and it was like this during the battle, mind you. I've had this thing for so long, but this was the lightsaber that I used in the battle. So we're lined up, ready to go. I'm in my Obi-Wan stance, like this, right? They're on the other side, we're on this side, kind of Civil War like Revolutionary War, like we're just standing ready to go. We're ready, I'm ready, and all my Padawan are ready. And then the war breaks out. And me and that guy, I can't even remember his name. I don't know who the heck that guy's name was. But we were fighting, and we were going at it, and we were doing flips and just everything. But in reality, I was fairly chubby and fat as a kid. So it was this really fat, chubby kid, and the other kid, he was fat and chubby too. I can say that because we both were. We were shamelessly chubby kids, and we were fighting though. We were going at it, and it was just going, and then his Padawan would attack me, so I'd have to take him out, and then my Padawan would attack him, and he would kill them, and then, not really killing, it was 10. And just one by one, all the Padawan younglings would fall, and then we were just surrounded by younglings, dead younglings. It was the Revenge of the Sith all over again, but we didn't know that yet because we hadn't seen it. Just younglings everywhere. Just death and mayhem, except for me and that other schmuck Sith guy. And we were just going. Like, it was just like move for move. And his lightsaber was like this much longer. I'm not kidding. I have a short lightsaber. That was how I liked to fight. I liked fighting with a short lightsaber. And he had a long lightsaber. He had like the fancy electric ones. And I had this guy with me. And we were fighting. We were going at it. We were circling each other. Just I gotta carry away. Oh man. And in my mind, music was going. That was in my head. I guarantee you that was in my head. And if it wasn't in his head, there's something wrong with him. But we were just, it was, and then it got a point because we were both fat and chubby that we were of heavy breathing. And we were circling each other. Just. This is not how you hold a lightsaber. But this, I'm trying to explain. We're just doing this, just circling each other. And I had my lightsaber out like this. I didn't have it in front of me. I wasn't worried about protecting myself because I'd be quick. And I was just watching, we were just circling each other. Eyeballs locked in this just heated moment of epicness. And we just keep circling each other. And then I remember my training. I go back to my early days of training, watching Obi-Wan Kenobi in The Phantom Menace. And I learned this move, and I modified it to make it my own. But he had this move where he would take the lightsaber around his head, and so I was like this already. I was already in position for the move. So I was ready to go, right? I was ready to go, and I just waited. I was watching him, eyeballs locked. And then I see my opening. And just in slow motion, in slow motion. Don't tell me it wasn't in slow motion, because it was. Everything slowed down but me. But me and my consciousness. And I go like this. He doesn't even move. I'm just going. I see my opening. And I go. And I'm like this. I'm gonna move over here. I'm in this position. I am not making this up. I am in this flipping cool position. If I can move the camera, you'd see my knees. It was just the coolest position ever. And when I went back for this, when I did this, when I would do the swoosh back, when I was like this, right? His lightsaber was just not even there, but it goes across. I had a chubby belly, and he had the chubby belly, but the tip of the blade goes right across his chubby belly, or equally as chubby belly as mine. Because I'm not judging, there's nothing wrong with chubby belly. I still have a chubby belly, but right across his chub. I'm not trying. I was chubby too. It's fine, but right across it, it was the greatest. Just, and he fell. I love this story. And he fell, and I became the Jedi Master of the neighborhood with this lightsaber, which doesn't close anymore. 2005, I became the Jedi Master of the neighborhood, and no one has challenged me to take my throne. So to this day, I'm still the Jedi Master of this neighborhood. And I don't think anyone who was 13 years of age was more a Jedi than I was that day. I miss it, man. I miss being as legitimate a Jedi as a human being can be without being in Star Wars. I love that story. That's one of my favorite stories. So that's it. That's how I became a Jedi in a long roundabout way. That's one of the reasons why I love Star Wars. I love Jedi. I cannot wait for The Force Awakens to come out to bring this type of feeling back into my life and into the lives of other children that are gonna get lightsabers, that have lightsabers, that are gonna open their own Jedi academies, and just embrace the fantasticness that is Star Wars. If you watch this, thank you for watching. I love you. Like, comment, share, subscribe this video if you love Star Wars, or even if you don't love Star Wars, if you love this story. And remember, the Force will be with you always. I love Star Wars.